Hello everyone. Myself Mrs. Anaga Singh. I am HOD of Mechanical Engineering Department at Pravin Patil College of Diploma Engineering and Technology. My subject is Industrial Engineering and Quality Control. So let us continue with chapter number 2, Process Engineering. Here in this slide you can able to understand the heuristic approach of line balancing. So let us see what is this approach. The line balancing is the arrangement of the individual processing and assembly tasks at the workstations so that the total time required at each workstation is approximately the same and the flow of production will be smooth. Line balancing means balancing the line. For example, balancing the production line or an assembly line. The main objective of line balancing is to distribute the task evenly over the workstations so that the idle time of the machine is minimized. Line balancing aims of grouping the facilities or tasks and workers in an efficient pattern in order to obtain a optimum or most promising balance of the capacities and the flow of production on assembly processes. Tests are grouped so that their total time is preferably equal or a little less than the time available at each workstation. This will help to reduce the idle time. In most of the practical situations, it is very difficult to achieve the perfect balance. When workstation times are unequal, the slowest station determines the overall production rate of the line. This can be explained with the help of following example. Suppose there are three machines, workstations A, B and C, which can process 5, 10 and 15 pieces per unit time respectively, and the pieces flow from A to B, B to C in precedence constraint. Since A has minimum capacity, that is the processing only 5 pieces per unit time, naturally workstation or machine remains idle for 50% of its time and machine C for 66.6% of its time. It shows that the line is unbalanced. One way to partially balance the line is to have 3 machines of type A, 2 machines of type B, with every machine of the capacity C. Another approach to balance the line will be to get some other task to machines B and C so that they do not remain idle. Procedure for line balancing the line. So here we will see the procedure for balancing the line. First, identify the work, job or task. Second, break down the work into the elements or steps. For example, making a slot on a milling or cutting gear teeth on a shaper. Third, list the various tasks identified with their immediate predecessors and duration. Draw precedence diagram to demonstrate a relationship between workstations. Determine the cycle time available at each workstation. This is longest time allowed at each station. Assign the task to the workstation. Here number of tasks can be combined so that their total time does not exceed the cycle time and without disturbing their precedence constraint. Calculate the efficiency of the line. Now let us see what is CPM and PERT. Critical path method means CPM and program evaluation and review technique means PERT are the scheduling techniques which are used to plan, schedule and control a project consisting of number of interrelated activities. Objectives of CPM and PERT: to plan, schedule and control the project consisting of number of interrelated activities. to define and integrate the task in a logical sequence. These techniques show the precedence relationship, that is, they show the activities which are dependent. Management can decide which operation should be done after completing a particular operation. To focus management attention on the most critical activities which affect the duration of the project to a great extent, that is, completion time, to know the progress of the work as related to the scheduling time, to plan the best possible use of resources to achieve a given target within overall time and cost limitations. It provides the basis for determining manpower, material, and capital required. It should complete the project economically in a minimum available time with the available resources. Now let us see terms used in CPM and PERT. First, network. It is the graphic representation of the project. It consists of series of activities arranged in a logical sequence and shows the interrelationship between the activities. Second, event. An event is a specific instant of a time which indicates the beginning or end of the activity. It is represented by a circle and the event number is written within the circle. Event does not consume any time or resources. Activity. Every project consists of number of job operations or tasks which are called activities. An activity is any time or resource consuming part of the project which has definite start and finish. Here you can see start of activity and finish of activity. So start of activity is a tail event and finish of activity is a head event. An activity is represented by an arrow in the network diagram. It begins in a start event, which is also known as tail event, and ends in a completion is a head event. An activity is normally given a name like A, B, C, etc., which is marked below the arrow, and the estimated time is complete. The activity is marked above the arrow. Example: start machine, an event; machining, an activity; stop machine or end of the machining, an event. Critical activities. In a network diagram, critical activities are those which, if consumes more than their estimated time, the project will be delayed. The expected completion dates cannot be met even if one of the critical activity is delayed. That's why more attention should be paid to their activities. These are activities marked by thick arrow or double line arrow. Non-critical activities. These activities, even if consumes specified time more than the estimated time, the project will not get delayed. These have provision of float or a slack. Then dummy activities. When two activities start at the same instant of a time, their head events are joined by the dotted arrows. This is known as a dummy activity. Next, pre-operations. Pre-operations are the operations which precede the operation under the consideration. Example, finishing can only be done after casting is completed. In this case, the casting is the pre-operation of the finishing. So casting first, and after that finishing can be conducted. Then post operations. Post operations are the operations under considerations. In the previous example, finishing is the post operation of the casting. That means after casting only finishing can take place. Okay, so after casting finishing can take place, so finishing is the post operation. Then concurrent operations. These are the operations which can be started simultaneously. In the above figure, activities A and B shows the concurrent operations. So here these are the concurrent operation, means simultaneous operations. Then 7, earliest start time, EST. It is the earliest possible time at which an activity can start and is estimated by moving from first to the last event in the network diagram, that is forward movement. Earliest finish time. It is the earliest possible time at which an activity can finish. EFT is equal to EST plus activity duration. Latest start time, LST. It is the latest possible time by which an activity can start without delaying the completion date of the project. So LST is equal to LFT minus activity duration. 10. Latest finish time, LFT. It is the latest time by which the activity must be completed so that the scheduled date for the completion of the project may not be delayed. It is calculated by moving from last event to the first event of the network diagram, that is backward movement. 11. Float or a slack. Float or a slack means a margin of extra time over and above its duration which a non-critical activity can consume without delaying the date of completion of the project. Float or a slack is equal to time available for activity completion minus time necessary for activity completion. So float or a slack is equal to LST minus EST or LFT minus EFT. Slack refers to the events and used with PERT, while float refers to the activity and is used with the CPM, but in general practice they may be used interchangeably. Next, critical path. A path along the network in which earliest start time and latest finish time are equal is known as critical path. It's the longest path and consumes maximum time. Critical path is formed by critical activities and has zero float. The critical path is shown by double or thick arrow line to identify it clearly. Rules for network construction. The length of the arrow does not indicate the time which the activity consumes. Second, the direction of the arrow indicates the direction of workflow. It shows dependencies and sequence of activities. Third, time flows from left to the right. Arrows pointing in an opposite direction should be avoided. No two events will be directly connected by more than one activity. An event cannot occur until all activities leading to it are completed. No activity can begin until its immediate preceding event has occurred. Now let us see solve problems. Draw the network diagram for the project in which pre-operation and post-operations are shown below. So here operations are A, B, C, D, E. Pre-operations are A, B, C, D. Means for C, A is a pre-operation, for D, B is a pre-operation, for E, C and D are the pre-operations. Then post-operations, C is a post operation for A, D is a post operation for B, E is a post operation for C, E is a post operation for D. Here in this diagram, you can see a simple network diagram from 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 1 to 3, 3 to 4 and 4 to 5. In this diagram, from the activities given below, construct the network, find out the critical path. Here also operation, pre-operation and their duration is given. So A, B, C, D, E, F are operations. So pre-operations are A, B, C, E, D. Duration is given. So here Duration is A to B, B to D, D to F1 in 3 days. Then A to C, C to E, E to F1 in 2 days. So here you can observe the network diagram. So here we end with our second chapter. Thank you.